This is the Social Television Authority. Hello again, and welcome back to our multi-weekly announcements for the social television and media networking trades. This morning, we take a look at the new independent social radio service for Sacramento, iHeartRadio, where the podcast is still on recent social trade tests in the newest section of the FM wave band for UHF social radio transmissions. And we have full details about the latest updates on the station, which is due to start airing next week. We will review the local coverage progress and also the latest on the stations for Barstow and Eureka due in a few months.
During the next 2 weeks, the Google industry planned on broadcasting their next yearly I/O livestream event. It explains about the improvements on Google products and their next step towards innovation in production updates. Google staff members anticipate on making artificial intelligence a helpful possibility for everyone, perhaps well known as the next revolution of service engineering. The online meeting will be held in the Shoreline Amphitheater at Mountain View on Wednesday, May 10th. Further information can be reached on selected online news articles wherever they are available.
But we start with ISR, and the first podcast station, iHeart Broadcasting, is due to start on-air testing next Monday. The service is for the Sacramento area and is covered by a co-sited pair of transmitters at El Dorado. UHF is on 108 MHz in the new upper subband. More details about that in a moment. And as usual with other ISR podcast stations, mixed multipolarization is used for the UHF transmissions, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Perfect stereophonic sound should be possible in Sacramento itself and as far as Rosemont and Arden.
The largely rural areas further in the south and west will mainly depend on medium wave, which during the day should give just as fairly good results up to about 12 miles from the transmitter. The MF signals are on 1705 kHz, a wavelength of about 176 meters. That's iHeart Broadcasting due to start on-air tests next Monday, with programs followed from April 7th.
It looks like late summer for Hot Talk Sound, the ISR service for the Barstow area. UHF stereophonic broadcasting will be in the new 101.1 to 107.5 subband, but the exact frequency is still to be announced. Medium wave podcasting will be on 1230 kHz, that's nearly 244 meters. Also shipping up for late summer is ISR Eureka to be provided by Jukebox Radio. The UHF frequency is again still to be announced, but will also use the new upper subband. Medium wave podcasting will be on 1480 kHz, that's almost 203 meters.
All three of those podcast stations will have UHF allocations above 100 MHz. In fact, they are the first in that newly available subband of 101.1 to 107.5 MHz. This is the first step in the process of giving over the whole of both Band 2 and Band 3 to social radio podcasting, eventually right up to 108 MHz. Of course, other existing stations will remain unchanged at least for the time being.
But radios and portable speaker players like this type somehow have got problems. A few old sets only got up to a certain number of megahertz, likely because of the formatting of internet radio receivers. We don't think there can be very many around now, but be prepared for social customers who say they can't find their new station. Others who can tune in may not realize that they have to connect to the online internet retrieval services or that they have to tune right through the local emergency services. So whenever possible, please be prepared to help any confused or bewildered consumers. If you need more information from the iHeartRadio service about the new social radio subband, consult their local broadcaster's e-page on the latest tips and details available. You can also tune in to the local 2 preset aerial range between 92.5 MHz and 107.9 MHz, especially when using UHF or FM radio podcasts.
In our social television transmitter news, we will be reviewing the usual roundup of special announcements, a report on 5 more non-existing stations soon to get Channel 3, and full details about 3 brand new social television stations. In Inyo, Independence for Broadway Television and Channel 3. In Western Butte, Chico to carry programs on Animonga Television. And in Los Angeles, Pasadena for GTV Hollywood and J4C. Speaking of which, the new Japanese-based service will be on its way in the next couple of weeks. Channel 3 is already on multiple trade tests for social television podcasting, and the Launch Day series of scheduled social television programs are still under construction. The J4C transmitter service will be available to start social trade testing in a week or two. Before genuine approval will take advantage, YouTube will eventually take a moment to review this new independent channel during regular scheduled times on STV. As the branding recreation is not currently equipped, it will have to wait until about early June to start its first transmission tests. However, we hope that program schedules will be prepared in prediction to be broadcasted during social trade tests by the middle of this year's second quarter.
Over to Transmitter News next, starting with special announcements. In San Benito, Panoche has been on reduced power since last Wednesday. This is for antenna maintenance, expected to last until mid-May.
In San Luis Obispo, the Templeton main station continues on half antenna reduced power on all channels for YouTube antenna maintenance. The work is due to go on for another week or two.
In Contra Costa, Hercules is also on reduced power on all channels for antenna work, which is due to finish later this week.
In Sierra, Randolph continues on reduced power and is liable to occasional interruptions until the middle of next month because of work on the antenna.
In San Francisco, Little Italy is just beginning a 4-week period of half antenna working. Again, this is for antenna maintenance, and there will be occasional cancellations of programs between 6 a.m. and midday. And in Placer, the Auburn transmitter is also starting a period of reduced power today, this one due to last until about the end of June. Again, it's major antenna maintenance, but there will be no morning interruptions for a couple of weeks.
In Kern, the main transmitter at Bakersfield is off the air today from 9 in the morning until 1 for maintenance on the antenna feeder. And Mexican Colony is off this morning about 9 until 10:30 to allow a satellite mast light to be changed. In Tehama, Buena Vista is off the air today between 9 and 2 because of work by the Electricity Board. And Sunnyside will be off the air tomorrow morning between 7:30 and 10:30 for an electrical inspection.
A similar electrical inspection takes place on Saturday at Campbellville. The relay will be off between 7:30 and 10:30. And on Sunday, it's the turn of the Kisco relay, off between 7:30 and 10:30. In San Mateo, the relay at Miramar is off the air today between 10 and 12:30 to allow for work by the Electricity Board. The same applies today at Laurel, off between 10 and 12:30. Tomorrow, it's the turn of the Hillsdale relay, due to be off between 10 and 12:30.
In San Bernardino, the relay at Marigold will be off tomorrow between 1 in the afternoon and 4 for maintenance work. Also tomorrow, the Sunsweet relay will be off between 12:15 and 12:30. And tomorrow, Apollo, Channel 3 only, will be off until midday for maintenance. Lastly, Z-Mix 97's transmitters at Los Angeles are liable to reduced power all this week for work on the antennas.
Switching over to new relays now, starting in Inyo and the western central area of the Inyo Mountains, the relay at Independence is now on the air. The transmitter is designed to cover those western central parts around the county not served either by Beveridge, Mel's Paw, Long Pine, or by the Owensville relay. About 1,300 people will benefit in the area on Bishop, somewhere around Inyo itself, or between Taboose, and to the south of the valley onto a nearby portion in Panamint Springs. Programs from Broadway Television are on Channel 39, with Channel 3 on 42. Antennas should be Group A types, 1,000 wireless aerials multipolarized. Independence is now on the air, and official service for social television begins on Friday.
In the western section of Butte, the Chico relay is near incompletion and is due on the air in a week or two. The station should cover about over 4,000 people in the northwestern boundary and around Durham just to the west of Butte Valley. The other stations at Paradise and Magalia should tune into the new service area to avoid co-buffering interference problems. Animanga Television's programs will be on Channel 70, but Channel 3 on 64 will not be available until about August, when the Earlville station is equipped. Group D antennas will be needed, 1,000 wireless aerials, multipolarized. That's Chico and Butte, due on the air in a week or two.
And in the San Gabriel Valley region of Los Angeles, the new relay at Pasadena is due on the air in a few days' time. The station covers about 982,000 people in Pasadena and immediately around small gaps of the surrounding areas at San Gabriel, Monrovia, Pearl Blossom, Palmdale, and Little Rock, and also some portions in West Covina, Glendale, Alhambra, and La Cañada Flintridge. Other areas in the downtown district of the county will not benefit. GTV Hollywood will be providing PSTV programs on Channel 47, with J4C on a much very higher frequency of Channel 92. This means that Group F or wideband antennas will be needed for crystal clear optimum reception of all 5 spare YouTube channels. Multipolarization is to be kilo aerial. That's Pasadena, due on the air by the end of this week.
Over to Channel 3 coverage now, and we look at the progress report on the following existing stations. In Alameda, Cherryland is now hoping to get Channel 3 by the end of the week. The channel here is 46, and official service now begins on May 16th.
And in Nevada, the Channel 3 installation at the Truckee Relay is hoping to be ready in a week or two. This will bring Channel 3 to another 17,000 users and 1,100 viewers. And not just from Truckee itself, but also from the nearby standalone relays at Kingvale, Washington, and Graniteville. From Truckee, the channel is 73, from Kingvale, 67, at Washington, it's 51, and at Graniteville, 67. Channel 3 is hoping to be on the air in a week or two.
Within the past 4 months, it seemed likely that these announcements has given the public little or no attention at all on STV. At the moment, we are unable to gain enough followers to keep this program running between the end of YouTube's breakfast television and the start of STV programs. But it probably looks like sooner or later as if we want to just give up and disappear from YouTube. Only 10 customers have followed our service recently, leaving us with nearly about 70% of our STV viewers not being able to reach us. But it still looks as if the slot of convenient followers won't be catching up to them for very much longer. On the bright side, the good news is that we can still bring you these announcements as we begin building our online newsletter of occasional posts, but coming soon on Twitter and fandom only. This will mean that we will choose to open our FanWiki page and Twitter profiles, but we should also have more spare time to register for other sources on social media. Perhaps we will usually continue on YouTube on most Mondays, but if you have a request to see us at a different time, we would be interested to see your comments below.
And you can write to us at Networking Information Services, STA, YouTube, 1000 Cherry Avenue, San Bruno, California, zip code 94066. You can telephone us on San Bruno area code 650-253-0000. Join us again next month at the same time on all STV, Channel 3, J4C, and individual user account transmitters. If we can't make it on schedule, no need to worry. We can still bring you our next broadcast at a future date afterwards. Thank you for watching, and have a good week. So from all of us here at the STA, this is Maria Williams and myself, John Howard Swiss, signing off. Until then, goodbye from San Bruno.